What's up, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Tuesday to you, and it is not a good Tuesday for some NFL players' dreams. Today is the cut deadline. NFL teams have to get down to 53 players, then plus some will get added to the practice roster. We're going to tell you about what we know right now in this segment. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that follow button. Again, let's go ahead and jump into this as far as some of the news that I have gotten right now. The Kansas City Chiefs have released wide receiver Kadarius Toney. He was a former first-round draft pick of the New York Giants a couple of years ago. They were trading to KC. They have released him. We do know that. Dallas Cowboys, they have traded tight end Peyton Hendershot to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2026 conditional 7th-round pick. Hendershot, according to our reports, was going to be released anyway. The Buffalo Bills, they waived running back Frank Gore Jr. Yes, the son of future Hall of Famer Frank Gore. Gore Jr. was waived. He was an undrafted free agent out of Southern Mississippi. The Arizona Cardinals released the Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback from last year. That's right, Desmond Ridder. They traded him to the Cardinals. He was released today. The Patriots released quarterback Bailey Zappi. That leaves now their first-round draft pick Drake May, as well as Jacoby Brissett and another, I believe, quarterback on their roster. Looks like Drake May will probably end up starting sooner rather than later, but I'm sure they're going to go with Jacoby Brissett. The Cowboys, they released defensive end Carl Lawson just a few days after signing him. But according to reports, he could end up on the practice squad. Now, we had a trade on yesterday. The Tennessee Titans traded quarterback Malik Willis to the Green Bay Packers for a 2025 7th-round draft pick. And I just got word, news came down, that the Packers running back A.J. Dillon, he is out for the year with a neck injury. He will be put on IR. Now, let's go back to the Cowboys. They got two players that's coming in to talk. Running back Dalvin Cook, it was reported yesterday that he will be in, I believe today, or it was yesterday, that he was going to meet with the Cowboys brass to talk about maybe being added and signed to this team. We know Dalvin Cook was with the Jets last season. He didn't play much. And prior to that, he had a very good, solid career with the Minnesota Vikings. Also, Baltimore Ravens former linebacker Tyus Bowser, he will be visiting the Cowboys today, according to reports. New defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer, he's looking to get that linebacker core, get it strengthened. So Tyus Bowser will be visiting with the Cowboys today. It's funny, I actually talked with the former Ravens linebacker a couple of months ago when he was in his hometown of Tyler, Texas, putting on his youth football camp. And at the time I asked him about potential teams, he said he couldn't talk about them at that moment. There was a few that was on the list he and his agent were talking to, and now that was actually reported on today that he will speak with the Cowboys. Now, let's talk about some of the other names. I'm just going to go down a list of names that I think are big names, or names that you would recognize that were released. The Ravens did release wide receiver Russell Gage. Again, I told you about the Bills running back Frank Gore Jr. They also released safety Kareem Jackson, as well as quarterback Ben DiNucci, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback. What about the Carolina Panthers? Not seeing any names that will jump out the screen at you. Chicago Bears. Any Bears names that look familiar? Not seeing anything just yet. The Bengals. Not any big names. As far as the Browns, I am really going through this quick just to see. Cowboys, again, I told you about Carl Lawson. Who else? Defensive lineman Vilimai Fehoko, that was a name. Linebacker Damian Wilson. Those guys were released. Detroit Lions quarterback Nate Sudfeld was released. As far as my Packers, any big names on this? They did release kicker Anders Carlson. He had a pretty average year last year. Wide receiver Samori Toure was released as well for the Packers. As far as the Texans, wide receiver Noah Brown was released. Quarterback Tim Boyle was released as well. And speaking of the Houston Texans, the longtime quarterback, I can't think of his name, he's out for the year. Case Keenum, I believe. I think it's Case Keenum, yes. They was put on IR. He's done for the year with some sort of foot situation. That is with the Texans and Indianapolis Colts. My Tyler people would know his name. Wide receiver Greg Ward was released. He was with the Eagles for quite a few years. Former Tyler High School Houston Cougar, but he was released by the Colts. As far as the Jacksonville Jaguars, who do we see on here? Not seeing any names that just jump out. Safety Adrian Amos. Ooh, they released quite a few people. As far as the Chiefs, I told you about Kadarius Toney. He was released. Quarterback Ian Book for the Chiefs was released as well. Cornerback Kelvin Joseph, former Dallas Cowboys cornerback, he was released by the Chiefs. As far as the Raiders, Nathan Peterman, they released him, quarterback. The Chargers, nothing, no names jump out at me. As far as the Rams did trade a linebacker. Defensive end Carlos Watkins was released by the Rams. And there was some reports that he may hook back up with the Cowboys, who he played a couple of years with. The Dolphins released quarterback Mike White. As far as the Vikings, no name that really jumps out at me right there. As far as the Patriots, I told you about Bailey Zappi. They did release him. They released quite a few players. The New Orleans Saints. Equanimeous St. Brown was released by the Saints. Former Packers and Bears wide receiver. The New York Giants. Not seeing nothing jumps out me. Actually, tight end Tyree Jackson. That name rings a bell. The Jets. Nobody rings a bell. As far as the Eagles, CJ Uzoma, tight end. They released him, as well as quarterback Will Grier, as far as the Eagles. What about the Steelers? No one jumps out the screen. That 49ers. You know, they working on some contract issues with their left tackle. They Pro Bowl left tackle, by the way, as well as their wide receiver Brandon Ayuk. They looking to figure out how they're gonna get those guys signed. Seattle Seahawks. Nothing. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wide receiver Sterling Shepard was released, as well as troubled linebacker Randy Gregory. He was released. He didn't even show up for camp. Titans cornerback Caleb Farley. As far as the Commanders, Martavis Bryant. This looks like his NFL career is pretty much it's not going to happen. So those were some of the big names. Some of the names I'm not going to say big that had to be released by 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on today. Now, a lot of these players will probably end up getting picked up by other teams. Also, there's going to be some that's going to be signed, most likely to practice squad. So again, NFL kicks off regular season September 5th. Super Bowl champs Kansas City looking to three-peat versus the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of the AFC Championship game of last season. Then the regular season kicks off for everybody on September 8th. So tell me what you think about these roster cuts. I am Kendrick the Sports Guy. Talk to me in the comments. We'll see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.